thing in there.
I see if I could fool anybody on today's live stream. Be like,
Ugh.
sick.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Bruh, that is hilarious. Fucking turned into a whole horror. Dog, I literally am gonna go
Dang.
I love the idea of having a son or a daughter when I'm like 40.
And you're all good financially.
Shit, when I'm like goddamn aging already, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be getting senior citizen discount while I'm doing Exactly. Hell yeah, I'm gonna try Really? Nah, realistically, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah,
But I'm not gonna have to I guarantee that will happen.
when it says otherwise. With the art still. Yeah, it's okay. What's up?
Yo.
Yep, better. Hold on. $50 or 15? Now it's 40 seconds.
Alright. Did you miss out?
20 seconds.
Yo, bro. Come on, bro.
I'll go ahead and start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Opening.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, welcome everybody. So go ahead, Pedro, do the introduction.
Yes, sir. Welcome back, friends. Hear Me Out podcast, man. Hold on. Our special guest today is a window and a couch. What's going on?
A window and a couch. Oh, right, yeah. What's up with that?
Where you at, homie? This is
It's
our
a
friend.
Batman villain's couch.
We're
It's
actually
in the dark.
we're interviewing Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy's car right now.
Dun da dun dun da da. All right, you guys are not Squid Chronicles, Sarcasm Stardust, or Idris Richard, or Lefty Vegan. So let me change that real quick.
All right, screen recording is going on, and we're live on YouTube right now. Hear Me Out podcast, joined by the homies, Franco, of course, who is hosting the OBS live stream right now, and we got, I believe we got Brooks Warren in the cut somewhere, prepping himself for victory today. You already know what's going on, man. This is our first live stream. I think we were here last week. You know, every week going on with the live stream.
There we go.
Let's go ahead and let's get the rest of the fellows on here, huh? There we go. Yeah. No. Yeah. There we go.
So for the viewers out there, can you guys let us know how the stream is turning out? Is it laggy? Is it good? I made some adjustments to the stream source that I use, so it should be more clear. It should be more smooth. So let us know how it's going.
All right. Oh yes, sir. This looks amazing. It's running very smoothly.
Yeah. So the settings that I adjusted worked.
That's it, man. That's it. That looks great.
Hopefully it stays that way.
Is it possible to switch the name of the stream, though?
What do you mean?
Like, include Lakers 2020 champions, and then just include in there Mahomes or Russ. Include that in the title. We're about to talk some shit, man. We are about to talk some shit. As soon as
it won't fit.
I won't fit. No, it's all good. We'll get in there. We'll get into it.
Make sure you're recording on Skype, right?
I am recording on Skype. I am recording the audio on my cellular device. You already know, man. So I guess we could. I don't know if we should start now or.
Go ahead, man. Give the introduction. What happened? What is it? A couple days ago, we have a new NBA champion, right? Who is that?
Lakers, baby. Yes, sir. You already know the 2020 NBA champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, I'm a bandwagon fan. And do I give a fuck? No, I don't. I'm not a bandwagon Kobe fan. Been loving Kobe since middle school. Probably even before elementary. So RIP Kobe. That was definitely a Mamba dedicated championship. You've seen everybody that was always shouting them out. Actually within the Lakers organization, you had a lot of coaches and players. You know how they're, 1, 2, 3 on whatever, team on 3, whatever. They break on Kobe every single time, Mamba on 3. So they really dedicated this season to Kobe. But that I don't want to take away here. Oh, there he is.
Sorry, guys.
It's all good.
My dad was rapping, or I was just talking to my dad, and we got to rapping a little bit just now.
Shout out to Papa Brooks.
Yes, so sir.
Where did you guys watch the game, and how was it?
Shit, man. I'll tell you what. I was in New York for Game 5, right? Game 5. They went up 3-1. LeBron knows very well about 3-1 leads, except he doesn't blow them. He comes back from them. So this time he had the
Lucy.
They almost, I don't want to say they almost blew it because they didn't almost blow it. But they did lose a Game 5 that they were definitely supposed to win. Danny Green missing the wide open shot, as we all saw. And They went in Game 6 and they smashed Miami. This is what I thought was going to happen in Game 5. Smashed them. They were checked out after Game 5. Jimmy Butler, like this, like all like hunched over, tired as all hell. He gave everything he had. He averaged like a 30-point triple-double in between games 1 and 5. Incredible performance by that guy. But they checked out of the bubble after they won Game 5. You know why? Because I think that they knew either one of two things. They thought that they had a better chance than what they really did, or they decided, nah, man, that's it. We gave them everything we had, and that's it. Because, they always talk about
Yo, are we live now, or are we doing that
bro,
countdown?
we've been live.
We're live, bro.
Oh.
Yeah. Check
Okay,
to
guys.
see how smooth the stream is going.
It's going very smooth. I'm watching it right now on the iPad. It is going smoother than a baby's bottom right now.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Love it, man.
Shout out to all the young parents in our lives right now. Yes, sir.
I just want to give shout out to the parents of our man. Shout out to Mellow High, my boy Al. Shout out to Bones.
Shout out to definitely shout out to Bones.
Yeah, shout out to all the homies with kids, man. I know it's a common stigma, I guess. Like all young parents, blah blah blah. But I give nothing but props to those who have their kids at a young age and remain, present, loving, caring, and all that. And the people that I mentioned, plus others a few others that I haven't, just off the top of my head. Shout out to you guys, definitely. But yeah, man, Lakers are the NBA champions, man. And before I'm gonna pass it off to you in a second, Brooks, I just want to say this, man. LeBron James is a 4-time champion. Anthony Davis is his first championship this year. Dwight Howard, after an 11-year gap from the finals, his last time was beating LeBron in the conference finals, losing to these guys, Kobe Bryant, the finals MVP. So we got a full-on – this Lakers team, man, they are special. And I think people don't realize that they have 4 Hall of Famers. Everyone was talking about the Warriors being such a – boring team because they got 4 Hall of Famers. The Lakers have 4 Hall of Famers. The only difference is 2 of them are out of their prime and coming off the bench. But they still got 4 Hall of Famers on the squad. The Lakers have now won the championship. Brooks, man, was this a cakewalk for LeBron James?
Definitely wasn't. Nah, I won't say that at all. I won't disrespect Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley like that at all. You saw what they were able to do in those 2 victories. One of them, they basically got Anthony Davis and everybody out there. Basically, they caught him lacking, and they were able to get Anthony Davis in foul trouble. LeBron James is the only one that was really awake to win Game 4 or lose Game 3. And then Game 4, they gave him a battle. Game 5, obviously the Miami Heat win. Jimmy Butler, he gives him a 40-point triple-double. It's incredible what he was able to do. Nah, and we know what Miami Heaters are about. We know that they're competitive. We know that they're gonna battle you tooth and nail. So to disrespect them and say it was a cakewalk, I'm not gonna go for that at all.
Is this what you guys were expecting?
What, Lakers winning the championship?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I knew. Look, I'll tell you this right now, bro. The moment, and I shit you not, the moment Anthony Davis got picked up by, matter of fact. Let's rewind. Before that, the moment LeBron James became a Laker, I knew they were going to win a championship. Did I think that they were going to win in 2020? I don't know about that specifically, but LeBron in 2019, I knew they weren't going to win a chip. But at some point, I knew that they were going to win. And once they picked up Anthony Davis following LeBron's first season where he had the groin injury and all that, I knew that they were going to win the championship this year. There's no question. And then you add the Kobe tragedy, you add the pandemic and all this stuff. I knew the Lakers are going to win this championship. I'm not going to call it a cakewalk though. I'm with Brooks on this because at first I was saying like this probably going to be like an asterisk championship, like certain people would like to say, right?
Wait, hold on, Pedro. So how is it that the pandemic and Kobe's death impacted the Lakers winning?
Well,
I'm gonna go after you say something too, Pedro.
Yeah. So first of all, Kobe, that's an easy one, right? They dedicated the championship to him. LA was the city in terms of basketball. and him being the biggest star that has ever come out of LA outside of maybe Magic. I would say Kobe is probably the greatest Laker of all time. So when he passed away, they dedicated everything to him. You had a bunch of talented guys who were going out there literally dedicating this thing for him. So I knew that was like a given, right? But the COVID thing, I thought, honestly, I was like, man, LeBron's getting robbed, dude. Like, he has to come back and figure it out with these motherfuckers. Then Avery Bradley was gone. Then Rondo was injured for a little bit. I was like, golly, man, this is going to be tough. But I figured, since they had this break, I was like, they have time that no other season has ever had to offer, like a 4 or 5 month break for all these players. So that's why I thought maybe it might be a bit of an asterisk where it's like, it's not a full season, uninterrupted. There's certain things that may have helped some people, but may not have helped others. But in the grand scheme of things, Brooks and Marvin told me this. It's a great point. This is the toughest championship. And why is that? That's all from a mental standpoint. Physically, they did get the help of getting a 5-month break physically. And I thought that was going to hurt LeBron for some reason. I thought LeBron was going to come back like, oh, man, like vacation mode. But I really need to stop underestimating the mental power of LeBron James. And
please,
it was on full display. LeBron James, in my eyes, for a long time, especially after he lost in Dallas, and I have to get into this, Brooks. I thought that he had no killer instinct, man. The typical narrative that he has no killer instinct because he misses shots with 2 seconds left on the clock. LeBron James is a fucking killer, okay? And mentally, he is one of the most locked-in basketball players ever. His basketball IQ is higher than anyone ever. Obviously, we don't even have to talk about his physical stature and, just his overall skill of the game of basketball, but his mental, it's fucking insane, dude. This guy goes into a pandemic. He continues working out, posting his workout vids. It comes out, and they just come out, kind of. LeBron comes out a bit flat. The team comes out, a little bit flat at the beginning of the bubble. But then they really started kicking it, and it really showed, bubble or not, LeBron James the kind of guy who he's thinking playoffs only, right? The regular season is cool and all, but it's playoff time, because as soon as playoff time started, my God, Brooks, LeBron James he locked in, man. He wiped out Damian Lillard. And the whole cakewalk narrative, I can't agree with that, just for the simple fact that you took out the bubble MVP while he was hot. Yeah, he gave everything, and he was probably gassed by the time he got there. Still the bubble MVP, still Damian Lillard, he's still CJ McCollum. You had a solid Portland team, right? So the fact that they won a game, everyone was shook. Like, oh man, they're gonna give the Lakers a run for their money. Lakers winning 5, now there's some shit. Same with the Rockets, same with the Nuggets. Oh, they won one game each on both sides, and now the Lakers are in for some trouble. They were never in any fucking trouble. It was LeBron James' mental game that really impressed me, and Anthony Davis too, coming out. And he didn't surprise me with anything. He's an amazing scorer. I want to say he's the best scorer on the team, but I don't even know, man. I think LeBron can get himself a bucket in more ways than Anthony Davis can. And obviously his passing helps him be a better scorer too. But LeBron James, like I said, the mental game is crazy. This guy knows all of his opponent's weaknesses, all of his teammates' strengths. He stayed locked in during all the social injustices going on. The Breonna Taylor, I think with the whole wanton endangerment with the cop. They had to deal with all these things, the NBA stopping during the bubble, and he didn't miss a beat. You've seen guys like Giannis essentially check out mentally. You've seen guys like even in the Nuggets series, I think in every series guys were checking out mentally. I think by the time Damian Lillard got hurt, they checked out mentally. The house guy who got suspended out of the bubble, the whole Rockets team seemed kind of like, they checked out too, because James Harden wasn't doing shit. Russell Westbrook wasn't doing shit. Mike D'Antoni wasn't changing anything up, and he's gushing over this role player, and they just mentally checked out. And then you see Jokic getting into foul trouble every night against the Lakers, and he couldn't stop Anthony Davis. Miles Plumlee switching on to some shit that he wasn't supposed to. None of the teams matched up with LeBron mentally, and that was the most impressive thing for me.
I have a question for both
Franco,
of you
before you.
guys.
Okay, but
Why are some
Brooke,
people saying? Yeah. Go ahead, Brooks, and I'll ask my question.
okay, all right. Make sure you remember it. I just want to say, for one, Franco, your first question. I was one of those guys who thought that the Clippers were going to win the championship. Even before the bubble started, I was like, they're looking like a really good team. They're really meshing together at that point. Then, of course, the bubble happened. They're one of the few teams. I think it was them and the Trailblazers who said, "I don't want to go into the bubble. I don't want to be in Orlando for 3 months." And then they were also, and then when the bubble was in jeopardy of canceling, they also, along with the Lakers, said, "Oh, I don't want to stay around." So it seems like from the get-go, they just weren't mentally checked in. And it shows when you lose in the second round to the Nuggets team that really shouldn't have been a threat at all going into the playoff, or not at all, but you know what I mean. Like they weren't as big as a threat as the Lakers and the Clippers were. And then as far as just like I said, the cakewalk thing, not sure at all. LeBron James, Pedro, he said it himself. He's a Michael Jordan stan. He's a GOAT. Michael Jordan's a GOAT for many people.
We're gonna get to that specifically.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that someday, but
No.
Yeah.
Today
we're gonna have that debate.
Today we're gonna have that debate.
Yeah, I mean LeBron James is a killer, and he's proven it time and time again. He's doing it in a different way than people would like to see, but he's proving himself over and over again. I think the funny thing about this Lakers run is the fact that every team that they face in the playoffs, people were seeing them as a threat. Game 1 against the Trailblazers when they win, oh, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, they're going to be able to upset the Lakers. They're going to be the team that actually upsets these guys. Completely wrong. Rockets, they got James Harden and Russell Westbrook. They're going to be able to do something crazy. Even Melo included, he's going to do something crazy. They only last 5 games. Nuggets, we see Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. They come back from 2-3-1 deficits. They weren't as big of a threat. And then the most unlikeliest finals team in the Miami Heat, they were a threat too. And they lasted 2 more games or 1 more game than everybody else did. And even them not being healthy weren't as big as a threat as people were perceiving them to be. And it just shows, like you said, Pedro, LeBron James' mental strength as far as his leadership, his ability to just impact everybody. AD is blossoming into a leader himself. He hits that big game winner against the Nuggets. He hits a huge dagger 3 in the finals. I mean, the guy is blossoming. I love to see it. Franco, go ahead with your question.
My question is, why are some people saying that the Lakers cheated? Is it just salty Heat fans?
Very, very salty Heat fans.
Who said that? Franco?
Who said that?
Who said that?
I'm not gonna shout out any names.
Okay. All right.
But it's generally Heat fans that I've heard.
Well,
yeah,
I'll agree with Brooks on this, man. It just sounds like some salty Floridians to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens every time, right? You watch a football game in high school. Oh, the refs were cheating us.
Yeah.
We didn't win because this, that, and the third. But then you mess up a play.
We're playing
on, like,
against 6
down.
players. The ref is playing for
exactly,
them.
bro. That's crazy. Nah, you got to do your job and execute. Miami Heat, they did everything they could and they just couldn't get it done.
Dude, Miami's great, bro. Like they deserve a lot of credit for this series, right? Because most other people outside of me didn't even have them going to the conference finals. I was like one of very few people that had Miami going to the conference finals. I didn't think they were going to beat Boston, though. And I sure as hell didn't think that they would even win a single game versus LA, let alone make it to the finals, right? But there was no cheating. But the only, if there's any cheating, is that LeBron James is cheating by being born a fucking basketball Jesus and like being as big as he is. That's the only cheat here.
Yeah, man. I mean, this dude is, once again, we speak on it all the time. This guy's putting in $1.5 million into his body every year. He's like a robot. This guy is an ageless wonder, and it's ridiculous. He's going to be 36 in December. LeBron James shares the same birthday with my GOAT, my father. So this is crazy to me, man. This is December 30th.
Oh, okay.
Man.
But yeah. I mean, this guy's an ageless wonder, man, and it's incredible what he's been able to do 17 years into the league. When is this guy going to slow down? Hopefully never.
Bro, he's like Cristiano and Messi. Like they're both over 30, which is usually the retirement age, but they're dominating in soccer still. And it sounds like LeBron is what? Is he approaching 40 yet?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna be 36 this year.
Jeez.
36 in 2 months.
Has there ever been a player before that's been like in their mid 30s that are still like in their peak?
Mid 30s.
Mid-30s in their peak.
Yeah.
Look, well, in their peak, I don't know
Yeah.
about all that.
Would you
Yeah.
say LeBron's still in his peak?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say he's still. Yeah, he's definitely in like his second or third prime right now. I mean, I think his peak was his Miami years,
Mhm.
and then everything else right now is like a continuation of just like his prime and being able to dominate in every single way that he wasn't able to before.
Do you think that
Look,
it's because of like the like all the like the evolution with our like supplements and all that that's been aiding him and other things that you can do to your body now? Like we have more technology for training now. Do you think that that played a role in maintaining his peak?
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, but I think what LeBron should be getting a lot of credit for here, the guy doesn't drink, the guy doesn't smoke, he sleeps hella early. He's a workhorse. He's not the kind of guy that enjoys the fruits of his NBA labor on
He doesn't
on work
party.
time. He I mean, outside of like Halloween parties and family parties that they post on Bleacher and ESPN, he is a gym rat. And I think that's something that is yeah, we talk a lot about the $1 million going into his body, but it's really the repetition. It's really the love for the game. This guy is a student of the game at age 35. He's still out here like remembering plays, from the first quarter of a game at the post-game presser. He's studying the game. He's practicing all the time. He's working out all the time. He is a gym rat. The guy loves to work out. The guy loves to practice, and he just loves the game of basketball, man. He is an incredible player. But to answer your question about has there ever been a guy in their mid to late 30s that's performing at a very high level, arguably like a peak? Michael Jordan was in his he was like 35 also when he won his last championship. I'm not saying this is LeBron's last champ. I hope not. I don't think it's going to be. But LeBron James or Michael Jordan, he was from age 30 to 35 the best player in the NBA. So from, I guess at 33, 34, that can be considered mid-30s. So it's really just Mike, in my opinion, that has been in that at this age bracket. Because after this, like where LeBron is right now, is where Michael Jordan retired for good as the best player in the NBA. He went to the Wizards, stunk it up, and he was like 40 plus. He was supposed to be a team president, and then ended up playing. I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Yeah.
Which is
And then-
unheard of, right? Like somebody playing in their 40s, or it's like it's very
Yeah,
rare.
very few.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, this is the year. Vince Carter, he was 41, 42. He was 40, 41 playing. Didn't Pele play in his 40s? Like, it's not a very often
maybe.
thing.
I think
yeah.
it was late 30s, but at that age, soccer players are like in like pre-retirement, and they go play in like the MLS, which is less competitive than playing in Europe or playing in
Right.
South America.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
usually what happens in soccer. They pre-retirement, you go play in a less competitive league.
I want to ask you guys, or I want to say this first. In my opinion, just we talk a lot about the fact that today's NBA players or today's athletes are a lot better than they were in the age of the 90s.
And
I
before
would
that as well.
And before that, yeah. But I would say it's more just like the aesthetic of what players are able to do that makes it completely different and more pleasing to watch. Like guys
Like the
weren't
style
doing
of the skills, you mean? Like it's more creative.
Yeah, I would definitely say the style and the skills more creative. Guys weren't doing what Kyrie Irving is able to do with the reverse layups. Putting a whole lot of spin on the ball when they're putting up shots. You know what I mean? Even when people got dunked on, it looked completely different. Today, the athletes are just a lot. Maybe it's like a lot more physical with the athleticism as well as just like the creativity. Like I mentioned, skills are completely different. But I think the fact that we have so much technology and so much more understanding of the human body that helps us be able to be better athletes. Like Steve Nash. Steve Nash had like chronic back problems, and he was able to become an MVP just doing plyometrics. Just learning how to do like certain things with his feet and his back to be able to actually like play for a long time. Kobe Bryant, God bless the dead. he went to Germany or like other European countries and got like different types of treatments to be able to just walk and play hard. You know what I mean? Like I mentioned, LeBron James, $1.5 million in his body. The way that modern medicine has changed everything is crazy. And I want to ask you guys this too. We talk about LeBron James being ageless, and he is just so super skilled. Would you say it's the same thing with Messi and Ronaldo, them being super skilled and being able to be super smart that helps them become ageless wonders?
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask you that. I guess this is like kind of off. Nah, forget. I'll ask the Steve Nash question later. The Steve Nash question, you should know what that question is, right? The Steve Nash head coaching question. I'll ask you that one for another time. But as far as these guys performing this late into their career, you got to think about it's again go back to the mental aspect of things, because by the time you're 30 years old and you got 10 plus, 15 plus years in any sport, you become worn down. So you have to be a lot smarter. You have to play smart, not hard. They always tell you that. Work smart, not hard. And especially when you're in your 30s, and when you're a guy like LeBron James who has as high of a basketball IQ, this guy, I believe, you ready for this, Brooks? I think he could be an all-star at age 40, LeBron James.
Damn.
High expectations, but we can see.
All-star at age 40.
He would be the first one, right?
He'll be the first one.
Probably.
Maybe Kobe was like 36 when he got his last his last All-Star. So I mean,
yeah, 36, 37.
Shit out the water, man.
In soccer, when there's like older players, I remember when I was watching a lot, like the Italian league had a lot of older players, a lot of older Italian players. They were wiser than the younger players, but you can tell that they were held down by their physique. Like they weren't as fit as they used to be. They weren't as fit as the younger players that they were playing against, the younger players on their team. But I think because of modern medicine and other advancements in our technology, that is what allowed Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo to extend their prime to even longer, to go into their mid-30s now that they're approaching. So I think a lot of it has to do with modern medicine. I think that they're wiser now than they used to be, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not shooting up drugs. You're not shooting up like freaking crack every other game too, or just doing like steroids and anything crazy
that
like
affects
that. Like
you.
it's completely different.
No, that affects, like if you're shooting up like coke and stuff like that, or crack, that's gonna affect you, like your health.
Yeah.
Long term, yeah.
Yeah, long term. But like if you look at tennis players, like the older ones, like they're still like they're a lot smarter than they were when they were younger. It's just the physicality is not, like they're not as fit as they used to be. I mean, because it's normal. Like as we get older, our body gets worn down.
Yeah, you look at Michael Jordan, the guy was like getting kind of fat by the time he ended in the NBA. Like by the time he got his 6th championship, he was already like thicker. And I'm not talking about like muscly. He was muscly, but like you can tell he got like, he let himself go just a tad bit towards the end of that championship, because when you win so much and when you've been in the game so long, you lose that hunger. I don't see that with LeBron, man. This guy, LeBron, he has the benefit, right, of being able to, well, I wouldn't, it's like a blessing and a curse, always being compared to Michael Jordan. And we're about to get into this in 1 second. You know,
curse.
It's a blessing and a curse, right? It's a blessing to be compared to Michael Jordan, who is arguably the greatest basketball player ever, right? And the curse is you can't do shit without being compared to Michael Jordan. You won 4 chips, Michael won 6. You won 1 scoring championship, Michael won 10. You did this, well, you didn't do that. Michael did this and you didn't. And like the narrative around LeBron James is Michael Jordan all the fucking time. So I'm sure it annoys him, but it keeps him hungry. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4 champions.
That's a great point.
Still hungry. He's still very, very hungry. When Michael Jordan was playing, there was nobody to compare him to, because
he relaxed. He relaxes more, right?
Right. So Michael Jordan could not be compared because there weren't guards doing what he was doing. Maybe Jerry West, but Michael Jordan's like a trillion times better than Jerry West.
A trillion.
Everyone knew that. Jerry West is this guy, by the way. That's Jerry West. It should be Kobe or Michael Jordan, but whatever. So now we've seen there be somebody who's great as a guard. And LeBron, yeah, he's a forward, but he's really a guard. So it's always something to compare it to, right? And that's, I think, been a blessing for LeBron James because he's never going to lose that hunger until he wins like 7 championships. And honestly, I can see him ending up with 5. I think that they'll win at least 1 more.
So I'm
Yeah.
speaking. Sorry, go ahead, Brooks, and I'll ask my question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, All-Star at 40. I think it all depends on what happens with his body. I think it all depends on that, and if he actually wants to play, or if he's able to continue to play. Because we gotta see what happens with his son Brownie, whether or not he can just jump into the league straight out of high school, I should say. I'll say this, man. Actually, no, because I'll let Franco say what he wants to say, and then I'll say what I have to say. Because I'm losing my track of mind.
Go for it, Franco.
So Michael Jordan and LeBron James, like I'm not a basketball fan. I don't watch basketball. Did they play the same position?
No.
So it's not really that fair to compare, other than that they're the best players in their team and that they're star players.
Play styles, though. They, not necessarily similar, but they're not. It's not like completely different. Where it's like Shaq would sit under the basket and dunk all day. And then you got Steph Curry who shoots threes. You cannot compare those two. There's nothing to compare it with, right? LeBron and MJ, you definitely can compare it. Aside from the fact that they share a number, let's just talk position and play style. You got 2 guys who dominate the basketball, 2 guys who are looking to drive to the basket a lot or get a mid-range jumper. That's something that both of these guys love to do. LeBron's a better three-point shooter, a better passer. Honestly, an overall better talent, right? Like, he's better at defending more positions and just being an all-around offensive player than Mike was. The reason Mike always gets put ahead, and I think we can just go ahead and jump into this GOAT combo right here. The reason Michael Jordan, and people will talk about who's the GOAT, right? People will talk about how do you measure who's the GOAT. I'll tell how I measure my GOAT status. My GOAT status goes by, obviously, stats, obviously numbers, right? Numbers is one of them, and accomplishments is the other one. So you look at accomplishments, 6 for 6, it's the quick narrative that Jordan fans like to use, like myself.
6 for 6 in the killer mentality.
6 for 6 is an unbeatable accomplishment. You talk about, Bill Russell got 11. Yeah, he got 11, but he played against 8 fucking teams. It doesn't count. Plus, different position, different play style, all that. 6 for 6 being the guy, okay, number 1. And number 2, and just hear me out on this whole thing, okay? It'll make
HMO.
sense.
Hear me out.
Actually, man, let's get into this right now. Who is the GOAT basketball player? Michael Jordan won 6 for 6. He has 10 scoring championships. And, people love to talk about who he beat in the finals. He was beating Hall of Famers. Does he have exactly the same competition as LeBron? No, obviously not. He had easier opponents and like a lot of these finals, right? But he still went 6 for 6. He handled what he had in his plate, and he had a 10-year stretch from 1987 to 1997, or 88 to 98, where he was the Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time MVP, 6-time champion. He had all types of accolades, stats, you name it. People like to talk about who they're doing it against. I think it's kind of I don't want to call it a dumb argument, but we need to think about these guys are getting it done, regardless of who it is. But I've really come around, man. I've come around, and I got to say something, man. LeBron James, he has better stats than Michael Jordan. He obviously he's had a way longer prime too, because Michael Jordan's prime, his prime is like he had his little rookie prime into the 88 when he started winning championships. He had 2 primes. Michael Jordan had 2 primes. LeBron has had 4 different primes. He's been the best player in basketball. He's been the best NBA player since like 2006 or 2007. You can give me Kobe, but I would say LeBron James was just he was just a better individual basketball player. Kobe is like a better scorer, and he had more pieces to complement him, which is why he won 2 championships, why they were like perennial one of the best teams in the league, right? But The one thing that was holding Michael Jordan for me is the accomplishments, 6 for 6. But 4 championships, 3 different championships in 3 different cities, 36 years old with 0 signs of slowing down. I think that LeBron's story is still being written because it is. LeBron James is the GOAT, dude, because, you got the accomplishments, you got the 4 primes, man. I can't deny it. I can't sit here and keep telling myself, man, I can't keep throwing out these same tired-ass arguments because they are good ones, 6 for 6. No one's done it as the star player like that. But, man, LeBron James.
Damn, you used to get into arguments with people about how MJ was the GOAT.
Is this a fake video?
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing that really pushes it for me. Yeah, he won his 4th championship, but it's the fact that this guy has reinvented himself so many times, and now here he is at 36 years old, still in the best shape out of basically anybody. He's in the best shape in the NBA out of everybody. Okay, Michael Jordan, I don't think he could have said that at that point. I think it's arguable Karl Malone was in better shape than MJ in 97. He was the MVP, bigger body and all this, enduring what they had to endure. But LeBron James, man, I cannot sit here and keep lying to myself that this guy is not the greatest player, because you go out there and you ask a guy to give you 30 points, he'll give you 30 points. You go out there to ask him to give you 10 to 15 assists, he'll give you that. And I think what makes LeBron so great is that he can sit back and get the entire team involved. You got guys like KCP who are looking like all-stars with LeBron James. He's making people money. He's giving people stature in the league. And he's demolishing people's careers. He took DeMar DeRozan. And I know Mike beat Stockton and Malone twice, but he took DeMar DeRozan out the playoffs 4 times in a row. Took Paul George out of the playoffs 4 times in a row. LeBron James has ended more finals chances than Michael did for other guys. You had Ewing, who lost a bunch of times. LeBron has done it more times, and he's handling. I know I said it's like a dumb argument to say, oh, who was Mike playing? He handled who he had to handle, and now LeBron is handling who he had to handle. But then you throw into play what you guys were saying, much bigger athletic guys, much more of a competitive field now. Obviously Mike feasted on some ice cream truck drivers, as people like to say, but he handled his situations and he got it done. And LeBron James, now he's getting it done. LeBron James has won a championship in 3 different cities. That's one of the greatest accomplishments ever. Finals MVP in all 3 of them. AD probably could have won this one, but he put his foot down on the gas. I personally think that AD slowed down out of respect for LeBron James, but I don't want to take away what he did. 30 points, 59% from the field, like 11 assists per game, and he's playing defense in the playoffs. He doesn't do shit defensively in all these other seasons, and then at 36, he just becomes a defensive demon all of a sudden. Again, that he used to be. God damn, man, LeBron James, he is an incredible, incredible basketball player. I think
Pedro, man, you're taking all the fun out of all of this, man. I was prepared for a fight.
I got to put
looking for a good debate
now, because this guy is a 4-time champion, and he's probably going to keep it going. He's going to become the all-time leading scorer. He's going to pass Kareem for points. And I said his story is still being written, but by the time it's all said and done, he's definitely going to be the GOAT, no question. He's going to pass Kareem for points. He's going to be in the top 10 to 5 in assists. He's going to be in playoff assists. He's already number 1. Playoff categories, period. He's number 1 in almost everything, right? So I cannot sit here and keep telling I can't watch what I'm watching on the TV and tell myself that Mike was better, because if we, I never wanted to use this argument, but if we swap roles, Mike in LeBron's shoes, LeBron in Mike's shoes.
Mike in 07, Mike carrying a bunch of those bums. Can you see it? I don't know.
Look, Mike had a shitty
But
squad.
what if he had access to all of the modern medicine and all the other stuff that LeBron has access to, like spending $1 million on his body? and all that other
He was, I mean,
technology.
he was honestly the first person to really invest into his body anyway, because he used to get beat up all the time by the Detroit Pistons and the Bad Boys, who they had the Jordan rules, right? And that was basically,
Like
if he
played
goes to the
dirty.
yeah, you could say that. I mean, basically, if he goes to the rim, basically hit the hell out of him.
Jeez.
Making him, don't let him go baseline. All these other things, just being basically super physical with him. And Jordan was like, I'm tired of getting beat up. Let me go to the gym and put some weight up. And he did that. That's how he was able to beat the Pistons. LeBron James is doing that right now, and it's basically on steroids. And that's what makes him so much more different than everybody else. People can say, "Oh, LeBron James wouldn't be able to survive in the '90s. He's too soft. He's too this, that, and the third." That's
LeBron,
not true, bro. Look what he does investing into his body. Like he would
He's
do
a
the same
really
thing he
big
did.
guy.
Yeah, he would do
He's
the same thing he
buff.
did to Patrick Beverly, right? Remember when he just wiped him off like he was a mosquito? He do the same thing to those guys. He's not soft. Stop with that narrative.
I remember I remember people were saying he was soft when remember he was saying that he was going to join the NFL when the NBA was going to be
oh,
off
yeah,
like a couple years ago.
Yeah, during the lockdown,
said that.
yeah.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
he would have been able to handle it, right? He's big. He's like 6'7", right?
Oh
Yeah,
man, no.
he's 6'9" and he's
Six
260.
nine.
6'9",
6'9",
260.
270
He'd be
pounds.
towering them. He
Mm-hmm.
would not be easy to take down.
Now,
Nah.
look, if LeBron James were a football player, he would be an all-star football. He would be a Pro Bowler every year. Look at his high school stats for football. He
Pro
was
Bowl
a
tight end.
dog. He was a dog in football. Matter of fact, he was he was more focused on football at one point. Then he broke his wrist and said, "You know what? I don't want to compromise basketball." And man, what a great decision that was, huh?
Yeah.
I think he would have been in 11th grade. He was already getting offers from every college in the country. Ohio State was giving him an offer to come be a wide receiver. He was one of the best football players in the state of Ohio, as well as being a phenomenon in basketball from the moment he entered ninth grade varsity, right? And Bruno over here is saying congrats to LeBron for going 6-0. Look, I think one thing that a lot of us Jordan fans were holding against LeBron were the finals losses. And the Dallas loss, unforgivable. There's no reason that they should have lost. That right there really hurt his case in my eyes, because you can't score 8 points in the game and then come out and pout your chest talking about I'm the GOAT. Stop.
Pedro, you can't keep doing this, bro. You gotta make it fun for me. Damn it.
18 points in the finals game. Wait, 8
God.
finals points in the game. That was bad, right? But 2011, and I think 2014. 2011 and 2014 were 2 years where I really looked at. I was like, damn, bro, they
Those
really
that first team was. I don't blame him for that, because that first team was out for blood.
But
and
you
they were
still
playing
had
the
a
most
good
beautiful
squad
game
behind
ever.
him. Yeah, they lost in 07. Yeah, the Warriors with Dellavedova. But in 2014, you're the NBA champion. You still got D Wade. You still got
A crooked D Wade and a crooked C Bosh.
bro, you still got a squad. Yeah, they're mildly broken down a little bit. The Spurs were the better team, but you got to at least put up a better fight than that. That's why I was like, damn. LeBron had like 30 points a game in that series, though. So, I mean, that's why he didn't get killed too hard for that like he did in 2011, averaging 17. But look at the championships that this guy, Cousin plus Jordan had a dynasty, and LeBron out here city hopping to see what sticks. Hey, man, it's
Who
free.
said that, Bruno?
Yeah, it's a new age, man. I can't be mad at LeBron for doing that. I would never be mad at any player from bouncing from team to team unless they're Kawhi fucking Leonard or Paul George. I don't like
Why?
guys.
Why is it different for them?
Why do I not like them? Because, bro, they're fucking cocky. Then they haven't earned shit. LeBron James is cocky, but at least he's earned what he's cocky for. Like, he's earned everything that he's got. He didn't get shit handed to him. LeBron really had to fucking work for it, but
LeBron James has been living up to his hype every single year, every year in, every year out. He lives up to the hype. Jordan came in number 3 pick. He wasn't even supposed to be the best player in that draft. Like, you look at no one even complains about Hakeem Olajuwon, who was a 2-time MVP and a 2-time champion. No one complains about him. Sam Bowie, he was a bust. Like, he wasn't supposed to be this great. And then he had a phenomenal rookie year, and everybody's like, oh, best player in the league. But LeBron James, from the beginning, he's a king. He's a chosen one. He's proven himself year in and year out. And I can never say anything about. Well, I can't say something bad about LeBron James, but yeah, I can't. It's hard for me to talk shit about him
Look,
when he's been able to live up to everything.
the argument that you're saying, Brooks, right, about him being called the chosen one, king, and all this shit out of high school. I think that might be something that people will look at and say, oh, people gave him that king title, people gave him that whatever title, but what did he do to get that? He was the best high school player in the entire country. So, and when you're 15, 16, and you're killing 18-year-olds, prospects D1, he earned everything like hype-wise in high school. And that,
Bro, the previous number one pick or the previous number one player in high school, they went up against each other, and LeBron James basically destroyed that guy's confidence. And now he's like a grocery store employee or something like that. I don't even know. I'm talking shit. I actually don't know what he's doing. But yeah, the previous number one guy, like he's not even doing anything. And LeBron James destroyed him, and now he's off to like one of the greatest careers ever in basketball.
Look, man, I'll be honest with you, bro. LeBron James, when we talk GOAT, I really try not to think about like things that aren't things that I don't think about non-basketball things, right? But if you do include non-basketball things, LeBron James is like all around the model NBA player that everybody wants. Don't you think that David Stern would have had an easier time with LeBron as his star instead of Michael Jordan? You know what I mean?
No, because Jordan didn't say anything that upset anybody, and LeBron gives no fucks.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And you know what? One thing I've realized, bro, LeBron is so hated, bro. I have never seen an athlete as hated as LeBron James. Michael Jordan didn't get this kind of hate. When his dad died, they were talking about the casino thing, but I think that was the height of the Jordan hate in his playing days. The Jordan hate only came now once LeBron came around, but LeBron James
since like the 2000s, since like the late 2000s, I remember like in middle school, people hated on LeBron.
Yeah, and he gave everybody a reason to hate him, from the chosen one tattoo to leaving Cleveland for Miami.
Oh, yeah, even before that, but that really triggered people even more when he left Cleveland.
Look, man, 4 championships in this era. It's incredible, man. He's the only player to come back from a 3-1 lead. He is the only player to win 3 championships in 3 different cities.
Being the lead player and winning 3 finals MVPs.
Yeah, all right, 3 finals MVPs in 3 different cities. Whatever the first one I just said, the first one to come back from 3-1. And he took out the Spurs team. He got saved by Ray Allen, but the only reason that Ray Allen was in a position to save him is because LeBron had a historic fourth quarter in Game 6 of the 13 finals. Yeah. Then he had a historic Game 7 where he completely broke out of his game. Oh, LeBron can't shoot. Pop dared him to shoot the entire game. And what did he do? He knocked down every single shot. He had 37 points in a Game 7. That's incredible.
Incredible, man. I think he's undefeated in Game 7s in the finals anyway.
He's 2-0. He's 2-0. He's 2-0. He's
2-0. Yeah, against the Spurs. Against the Spurs and against the Warriors. That's all that matters, bro.
It is incredible what LeBron James has done, and for me, it was the accomplishments of Michael Jordan that held him above LeBron for me. But this 4th championship, him being the only one to come back from 3-1, him being the only one to get the Finals MVP as the guy, as the best player in the league, going around in 3 different cities. He's changing the landscape of the NBA each time he moves, just off of his skill. You go to Miami, you take a 9th seed, they become a champion. You go to Cleveland, or you leave Cleveland and you're back to the lottery, go championship, again, back in the lottery. They're a fucking doormat. Nobody gives a fuck about Cleveland anymore. You go to LA. Bro, LA had to go through the worst drought from Kobe being injured to this year. That gap included guys like Kendall Marshall, like fucking Jeremy Lin. Oh my God, it was an atrocious Lakers squad, and they were starting to get a little bit better. Actually, no, fuck that. They were not better. They were still some shit right before LeBron showed up, and then LeBron shows up. They play mediocre because he's out for half the season. His first full season, he brings in AD. Now they're fucking amazing. People will say that's a credit to AD, but what did AD do in New Orleans? Not much. He didn't do a whole
One
lot.
playoffs. I think he played in one playoff run.
Didn't do a whole lot, man. So LeBron James, god damn, bro, that guy is a fucking. I can't sit here and lie to myself anymore, man. It's the championship, or it's the accomplishments that was holding it for me, because clearly LeBron has always been more talented overall than Michael Jordan. The other thing is the mindset. For me, it's Michael Jordan and Kobe are like the two most savage motherfuckers to ever play the sport of basketball, in terms of like, you know what, get the fuck out of my way and I'm scoring. We've never seen anybody like that. We see James Harden wants to be like that, but he's not built that way, okay? When it comes to the playoffs, he becomes a small man. Kobe, that never happened to him. Mike, that never happened. They didn't become small men in the play. You know, I'm not even talking about, you know, people say, Jordan had bad percentages. Motherfucker was shooting the rock 30 times, right? And he might make 8 or 9 of them. Oh, look at this poor field goal percentage. But he was a savage because they still won the game. And he'll miss 20 shots and then go into the fourth quarter and then erase a 10-point deficit, and then they win because he clutches it out at the end. That's mental right there. That's why Michael Jordan is so revered as a savage killer. And then they don't give that to LeBron because, LeBron can't hit a shot, whatever. Me too. I'm saying, like, LeBron's not a killer. He doesn't want the last shot. The guy has more game winners in the playoffs than Kobe and Mike.
Hello. Hey there.
I can't keep lying to myself, and I'm not gonna lie to the people anymore, man.
Franco, man, I'm telling you, he's not making it fun. We need to change the subject.
Yeah, before we move on here, I do want to ask, what do you say to people who are saying that the Lakers have a monopoly?
Not true.
A monopoly?
Monopoly on
because
the NBA.
they have so much money and they got all these star players to be on their team.
Bro, this argument happens every year. We were just crying about the Miami Heat at the beginning of 2010. We're crying about the Warriors, and now we're crying about the Lakers. I don't think that y'all actually. I think y'all actually like super teams. It's just that when it's a super team that you don't like, you don't want it to happen. Like, this is ridiculous, bro. Parity doesn't happen in sports or in the NBA anymore. Like, when you're the top team, you're the top team. When you got the money to get people to come in, you're going to do what you want to do. The Lakers are the most glamorous franchise in the NBA. They're now tied up for the most championships, the Boston Celtics.
17 chips.
17 chips, bro. In what? The NBA is what, like 70, 80 years old, whatever it is? Like, get over it. It's not going to happen anymore. Appreciate greatness for what it is, because we don't know how long LeBron's going to be here. We don't know how much longer anybody in the league will be there. So let's just enjoy basketball, guys. Shut up.
Bro, before we get off this topic, man, I just got to say this one last thing. LeBron James is he's a killer mentally. He's a killer. And I never used to say this, because for me, I'm taking the side of all these pundits and fucking haters of like Skip Bayless, because they present these points in a way where it's like, it makes sense for a second, right? Where it's like, he's not taking the shot, or when he does, he misses it, or he passes up shots. And I think LeBron's attitude really drives people to think like, oh, he's not a killer, because he's very passive or passive aggressive at times, and doesn't seem to care, you know, when they lose finals games. Like, oh, you know, like, I think they were saying Kyrie was upset because it seemed like LeBron didn't care like that, and shit like this, right? But LeBron James is a killer mentally, because this guy puts it in his head every single night. We're going to win this game. You know, the one knock is that, you know, when it comes down to it, like late, he does get a little bit bitchy when his teammates aren't playing too great. But, and another thing,
anybody would, right?
His attitude is what made people kind of like, oh, right? But every player has done that. Like, Kobe kills his teammates, Mike kills his teammates. Again, as far as the last second stuff, Kobe passed out to Ron Artest.
Metal Road Peace now.
You got Mike passing it to Paxson and Kerr. We can't use the passing debate anymore. LeBron James is playing to his strengths, and then the mental aspect, Kobe passing away, them doing it for him in LA. I think that does add another layer of
in the
pressure.
Bubble, away from your family.
Think about this. Forget the bubble. Think about this Kobe thing. Imagine if they lose the championship, how people are going to say, oh, man, you didn't do this shit for Kobe, disrespecting Kobe. That shit, LeBron would never hear the end of that. The thing that LeBron has that nobody else has is the ability to lock in regardless of being the most polarizing athlete in the entire world. Nobody has to deal with the day-to-day life pressures that LeBron James does, and we don't think about that from a human aspect. We just think about basketball, what did Mike do, what did LeBron not do. LeBron James has a pressure like no other. No athlete has ever had this kind of pressure, ever.
Trying to get to the game.
All right. So next topic.
Mahomes and Russ. Mahomes and Russ. Mahomes and Russ. We're approaching 1 hour on the live stream, 54 minutes, HMO live stream. Shout out to all 4 people in the live stream, whoever y'all may be. I love you guys. I think Bruno's in here still, too. You know, he doesn't love LeBron, but I love you, Brody, okay? And I love my co-host, of course. We're going to go ahead and man. We're going to go ahead and talk about some shit. Russell Wilson just completed one of the best drives of the year by going in at the end of that game against who did they beat this week?
I'll look it up.
Okay, so Seattle just came in. I think they played like Minnesota or some shit. So they go in and they win this game by the skin of their teeth, 4th and goal.
Falcons,
really?
No, wait. I'm lying.
Pretty sure it's Minnesota.
I'm tripping, bro. Falcons, Seahawks, Cowboys, Dolphins. Yeah, you're right. Minnesota.
There we go. So
Minnesota.
After this, you know, now his stat line sits at 1,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 3 picks, and like an 84 QBR, right? And people are calling him the best player in the league. Do you think that Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the league, Brooks?
I think he's currently playing like it. I think.
No. That's not the question. Yes or no? Is he the best player in the NFL right now?
Like I said, he's certainly playing like it. I think he's. I'm not even trying to dodge the question. This is sincerely how I feel right now. I'm barely even watching football. Yeah, Russell Wilson, excuse me. He yeah, I mean he's led them from deficits week in and week out. He's putting up amazing numbers, MVP numbers. I mean, we have to give the crown to somebody other than Mahomes at one point, and Russell Wilson's certainly taking it. He's leading a really good Seattle team to some good wins. You know, I think he's just the most energetic and most explosive name right now in the NFL.
I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. Okay, you're wrong, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. Okay, so Mahomes is still the best player in football, right? And I really should get up and put my Mahomes jersey on, but it's Laker Day today, so I'm going to keep it on. R.I.P. Kobe, love you, man. So Mahomes, the best player in football, okay? And he has the same amount of yards. He has a few less touchdowns, less picks, higher QBR, and a better overall opponent record. Like the teams they have played have been better than the teams that Russ has played so far. Is Russ one of the best players in the NFL? Absolutely. And to me, he's number 2 right behind. I think it's maybe even arguable that Wilson could be number 3 behind A-Rod because Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind.
That's a bad man right there. And you're playing with my heart saying that one. Because you know that's my favorite QB.
I already know that. Yeah,
he's my guy.
But why is Mahomes still the best player in the league? Because you still don't see Russell Wilson. He just doesn't have the arm talent that Mahomes has. Yeah, you know, Mahomes got the target.
Don't say that, man.
Russell Wilson does not got that kind of arm talent, bro. And I think that the one thing that helps Russell Wilson is honestly, I think his size helps him out a little bit. The fact that he's small, he can maneuver around and like juke people out and like kind of get out of the pocket. But
that's an elusive motherfucker right there.
Mahomes, to me, bro, is just he's playing better football against better teams. There's really nothing else I can say other than that, bro. The guy has a higher QBR, same amount of yards, almost the same amount of he's like 6 touchdowns behind or so, but still less picks, and he's doing this against better competition. He's doing this against teams like the Ravens. He's doing this against teams like I know they lost against Las Vegas, but Las Vegas is a team that could be reckoned with later on in the year.
Shouldn't be the Las Vegas Raiders, man. It should be Oakland Raiders still.
It should still be in Oakland, bro. But just watch the tape. Watch the tape. I promise you guys, you'll find more wow plays in Mahomes than Russell Wilson against good competition. And you know the guy's coming off of the MVP and the Super Bowl championship and all this. if people can come out and say Kawhi is better than LeBron just because he is the NBA champion, then you got to have that same energy for Patrick Mahomes, man. Let's not crown Russell Wilson until he does some real wild shit later on in the year. If he can continue these numbers at the rate that he's going at, maybe he can top Mahomes for MVP, but he's not the better player. That right there is Patrick Mahomes the second.
Like I said, man, I like Patrick Mahomes, man. I like Patty Mahomes. I like my homeboy. He's great. He's so much fun to watch, and we know he's gonna be great for not forever, but he's gonna be great for as long as he's in Kansas City, as long as he's got the OCs with him. He's got the utmost faith in him. But I think the thing that's really helping out Russell Wilson is the fact that Pete Carroll is finally giving him the reins to control the offense, right? This is maybe the first or second year, right, where he's able to be completely in his bag. He controls everything. His coach trusts him to make those big plays. We saw him try to do that in Super Bowl against the Patriots. Ends up biting him in the ass on the 1 yard line. Should have given it to Marshawn Lynch, but he didn't. Throws a pick. Ever since then, Russell Wilson's been getting better and better and better. And now he's got the reins of the offense. He's putting up great numbers. He's the most electrifying quarterback in the league right now. Other than Mahomes and Rodgers, you could say. I would say Russell Wilson over Aaron Rodgers, and that's my guy. But listen, Russell Wilson, once again, he has the reins of the offense. He's got some great weapons with him and DK Metcalf. Let's say Tyler Lockett, a couple other guys. I mean, he's got some great weapons, just like Mahomes does. He's putting up some good numbers. I mean, and the Seahawks are undefeated right now too.
Only 5-0 team in the league.
Only 5-0 team in the league right now. You have to give him some respect. He may not be better than Mahomes in your opinion, but he's got the better team right now, record-wise.
Hey, man, record-wise, that's the only thing you got because the Chiefs team overall is better. I think on both sides. Well, yeah, they're like equal teams. It looks like they can be the Super Bowl matchup, but as of right now, man, I can't give it to Russell Wilson, bro. I gotta go with my boy Mahomes on this one, man. And yeah, it's biased, but at the same time, look at who they're beating. The stats are similar. If you want to go off of that, Mahomes is the best player in the league. If you want to ask me who my favorite player is, you already know the answer.
We have a whole video dedicated to how
one of our most popular videos.
Mahomes is the GOAT.
Yes, sir.
Will that still stand this season?
Yeah. Well, what still stand this season?
Mahomes being the GOAT.
Of course. He's not going to unbecome the GOAT all of a sudden. If the motherfucker starts going out there and playing like Jamarcus Russell, then yeah, he won't be the GOAT anymore. But
big old fat dude.
But the thing about Mahomes that's scary, bro. Like, what is Russell Wilson, like 31?
Is he that old?
25. He just turned 25 years old, bro. The guy is
a year older than you.
Yeah, bro, he's younger than you.
Yeah, he's younger than me. Yeah, man.
But I
think Mahomes is just turning. Yeah, I think he just had his birthday too.
Another thing that I give Mahomes over Russell Wilson is
he just turned 25 last month in September.
Russell Wilson has way more league experience. He has way more classroom experience to be able to read defenses and do all this other stuff. Mahomes is 7 years behind. Not taking away from Mahomes, but Wilson's shown his consistency, and Mahomes still young in his career. To say the GOAT, I think, is a reach. Yeah, you're probably right, because Mahomes is still playing, obviously. I would say, if we had to say who the GOAT is today, accomplishment-wise, it's Tom Brady, because he's won 6 Super Bowls. That's super unheard of.
Bro, as many rings as one franchise in the Steelers.
Yep.
Think about that.
Accomplishment-wise, it's still Brady, but talent-wise, it's Mahomes. Let's think about this. This guy is like Steve Young. He's like fucking like John, a mix of Steve Young, John Elway, Joe Montana, like all mixed into
Dan Marino,
bro. He's a great quarterback. He's the most talented quarterback today, arguably of all time. But accomplishment-wise, you're right, Jesse. It's probably still Tom Brady. It's up for debate. Some people say Joe Montana. I personally don't say Joe over Tom just because Joe had a way more stacked squad, and Tom had to do, throw to guys who were not too great all the time, didn't have the best receiving corps, still made it work. Defense carried his ass, though.
Let me ask you this. People say that, yes, Tom Brady had like lesser talent to throw to, but he also had a great coach and a great system in Bill Belichick. But you can apply the same argument to Joe Montana, right? Joe Montana had Jerry Rice. He had Dwight Clark for a couple years. He had
Great coach and Bill Walsh.
Great coach and Bill Walsh, who invented the West Coast offense, which led them to incredible heights. Can you apply that same logic to Joe Montana if you're gonna apply it to Tom Brady?
What you mean?
As in, Joe Montana was great because of his coach and his system.
No. I'm just saying that's the main reason I'll pick Brady over Montana, just because the guy did have, the same argument that we all use for Jordan, man. He had a better squad, but that's not to take away from him being the most. He is like a top 3, top 2 most accurate pinpoint passers of the football. It was the reason Jerry Rice was able to be as great as he was. You take Montana out of that team, and then Steve Young comes and runs the show. That's why I was just like, you take away Tom Brady from the Patriots, Cam Newton is not necessarily running the show quite like Steve Young did in San Francisco. So that right there was like a little bit of
and he hasn't played in the last 3 games too because of COVID.
Yeah.
So, but what's next on the list, bro?
What is it, Pedro?
Hold on. Let me stop this and then start a new recording because that shit was getting fat.
Hell yeah.
It said the recording was at 30 gigabytes.
Thick.
Super thick. Oh my god. I couldn't even
thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
Girl, you are thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
Hey.
Yes.
You got a fat ass.
We are back. All right, I just had to say that so I can know where to edit this stuff out. Yo, shout out to everybody still on the live stream, man. Fuck with y'all heavy for sticking with us for as long as y'all have today. We're gonna go ahead and get into our. I believe this is like our last or second to last segment.
Last one. Gotta head out soon.
Let's talk about. Let's go ahead. We were gonna talk about Trump getting COVID, man, but we are not giving him the time of day today. We'll save that for the next episode. Let's go ahead and finish it off with the legalization of weed in Mexico. So they got legal weed and we don't. What's up with that? How did that happen, Brooks?
Brooks, you you presented this topic, right? You read the article?
I'm gonna keep it a bean. I didn't get to read it. I just saw the headline. I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is cool. But I do think it's a great thing to see. Like some people from Mexico, you think about just like the fact that this is one of the biggest like illegal drug operations throughout Mexico, throughout that country. So that for them to be able to knock out one of the main things that affects the country in weed and being able to legalize it and make some legal money through that, I think it helps out. And, it takes some money away from the gangs that harm the country. So, that's my 2 cents about it.
Just to confirm, they legalized it and not just decriminalized it, right?
Mexico was poised to become the biggest legal marijuana market in the world. Who will most benefit? That's the headline of the LA Times article.
So that seems like somewhat of a work in progress.
Pedro, you asked why is it that Mexico legalized marijuana and here in the States we still haven't legalized it? Well, it's because we gotta look back and understand why was it illegal in the first place. And it was illegal in the first place so that they can crack down on poor neighborhoods where black people and people of color reside. I'm sorry. Yeah, so they can get them in jail. So that the prison industrial
they are legalizing
complex.
It. They're not decriminalizing it.
They're legalizing it.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, so you arrest more people for having weed. You get more people in jail to perform cheap labor. And the prison industrial complex, these prisoners and these prison lobbyists, they profit off of that. So that's why there's a big resistance in our country for why it's not legalized yet. It's not because it's harmful for you. There's endless studies showing how weed can be good for your health. and that it's
Bro,
harmless. It's
I'll
because
tell
they
you guys
want
this
that
right
they want those people in jail, and that's why the U.S. is leading with the number of people that we have in jail. We have more people in jail than any other country, and I think it's more than multiple countries combined. We have people in jail proportionally as well. We have so many people in jail. It's ridiculous.
I just find it kind of weird how alcohol has been, or no, not alcohol. I'm trying to think.
It is weird with alcohol too, because alcohol actually causes more health deficits
Alcohol
to
is a
you
drug. Alcohol
than
is an
weed
actual
does.
drug
Alcohol
too.
is way more destructive to a family structure or to an individual than weed is. I'll tell you guys this right now. When I roll up my heat pack after this, I'm a fucking bro. It doesn't affect me negatively. It doesn't. I think obviously things are supposed to be done in moderation. Like if you're smoking like 8 fucking pounds of weed every single day, you're addicted and probably should get some help. But if you're smoking weed recreationally, there's no. He said the war on drugs was racist as fucking a total failure.
Of course,
Absolutely agree with
yeah.
that.
Before you say
It
anything
still
else,
is.
before you say anything else, fuck Ronald Reagan.
Oh
Fuck
fuck 'em.
Ronald Reagan for
Fuck
sure.
Ronald Reagan, fuck Richard Nixon, fuck every president who continued this war on drugs. And we're still
100%.
having it to this day.
The war on drugs is absolutely ridiculous. You got guys that are serving 40-year prison terms. Today, they're finishing off their terms from the 80s because of what shit Ronald Reagan was getting done back then. Motherfuckers were getting locked up for a bag of weed, like a bag of weed like this fucking size, like a gram, and they're doing 20, 30 years in prison. Meanwhile, guys on Wall Street are sniffing up that powder.
Is that you, Franco?
Also, the 1994 crime bill. Who wrote that?
Yeah.
Biden.
Hey, forget about that, bro. Let's not forget about.
It's
Let's not
both.
forget
It's both
that.
Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah,
They're bought
let's
off
not
by the same people.
these
They're
motherfuckers,
they're
they
both
want.
sold. They're both parties are sold out by the prison industrial complex.
So-
The majority of the country wants weed legalized. It's legal in so many states. So
Yeah,
at this
it's
point,
ridiculous
they're
at this
just being
point.
regressive on purpose.
So I'll say this, man. I think that the legalization of marijuana in this country is it's inevitable. It's going to happen at some point. It'll take a lot of illegal distribution off the street, and I think they need to make this kind of stuff legal. Like why can't somebody go open up a pop-up shop? You can go open up a lemonade stand. How come I can't go open up a weed stand legally, right? Tobacco is way worse than
Yeah,
weed.
for sure. Yeah, a lot of stuff is legal. Like all these chemicals that they put in our food and stuff is way more harmful than weed.
Remember in the 50s, you had all the guys who, smoke a cigarette. All the chicks in the 50s, all the Bettys and all the Bettys and Charlies and all the motherfuckers.
Betty's and Charlie's.
And Annabelles and all them. They were like, "Oh wow!"
What? Are you referencing Greece and like the people like with their leather jackets and stuff? Is that what you're referencing?
Not Greek specifically, but just like back then.
Just in general.
Back-
Franco, can I ask you this, man?
Go ahead, bro.
Do you think it's more likely for weed to get legalized than Medicare for all to happen?
I think that because we're in a pandemic, I think there's a higher demand to get Medicare for all legalized. Like,
But
it's
will
a
the people
priority
actually,
right now to get that legalized over weed.
will the government actually listen to the people like they claim they do?
They're
if it-
resisting really hard right now. Like they don't even
Yeah.
want to pass a stimulus check for political reasons. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to pass the $1.8 trillion that Trump wants to pass to give people like as a stimulus because they don't want to make Donald Trump look good during the election. It's absolutely ridiculous. And 1.8 trillion isn't even enough. So yeah, fuck Trump, fuck Nancy Pelosi, fuck all these politicians that are sold out.
Nancy Pelosi had a mean ass breakdown on CNN. Y'all should go check that out. Type
She
in.
sure as hell did.
We're not even gonna tell you about it. Nancy Pelosi, CNN on Twitter.
See,
Go look
yeah, Nancy Pelosi, Wolf Blitzer. Wolf Blitzer is a freaking tool himself, but he just asked her a question. Like this guy is boring, but he's also a tool to the establishment. He's also bought off. He couldn't stop saying negative things about Bernie Sanders, but even he had to challenge Nancy Pelosi on the realities of how incompetent Congress is right now, our government, in helping the people out. during a pandemic.
And
And
you know what the most sinister thing about that all is? She ends off the interview talking about, we listen to our constituents, we're here for them.
We
Yeah.
feed
Blitzer
them.
says, are you actually out there trying to, like, we want you guys to actually be out there and like helping other people? And then she says, oh, are you out there feeding them like we are?
She's
Like,
not feeding us.
come on,
And
bro.
like
She's worth like what, $34 million?
no,
How can you
she's 100 millionaire.
Yeah, how can you trust a public servant that is worth that much money to actually do the right thing for someone like us three who are working class? So we're literally trying to be like entrepreneurs, YouTubers, creators, whatever it may be, to do the right thing for us when she's a millionaire and that's all she's going to think about.
It's
man.
absolutely disgusting.
It's bad.
Yeah. I'm
So-
glad people are catching on to that. I think that if this was like 10 years ago, less people would have been talking about it.
I blame you, Franco, for the fact that like I'm having this awakening, and well, you and also the pandemic and being able to like have a lot of free time to watch YouTube and stuff.
Hey,
but either way,
keep the domino effect going.
yeah,
I wake
facts.
you guys up in some ways, and you guys will wake up other people.
So look, so we have about 3 weeks. We're entering like the last 20 something days before
Yeah.
the election. So everybody, man.
Good point, Fat Boy Jay.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell everybody go vote. Like that's gonna change shit.
Inform yourself. Like make it like
Exactly.
no.
Go on YouTube because we have a lot of time to look at other shit. Replace a little bit of that time that you watch the stuff that you like, because I'm not a big political guy like Franco is. Like Franco genuinely enjoys diving into politics. Not saying I don't, but I have other preferences. Like I'm working a lot on the drone stuff these days and like checking in on sports, pop culture and stuff of that nature. But regardless of whether we want to or like it or not, we have to inform ourselves because we can't just sit here and be clueless. 2020, we can no longer be clueless.
Also, it's more important to say, rather than just tell people to go vote, tell people make sure your vote counts. Because a lot of shenanigans goes down towards repressing people's votes.
Look what they did in Virginia.
Yeah.
Just got to not vote in the dark because a lot of people, and I've done this before too in 2016 especially, but people will say go vote, and people will vote out of pressure, and then they go to the polls.
They don't even know who they're voting for. They haven't even educated themselves on the issues. So Fat Boy Jay pointed out, he said we need to wait for all the old people to get out of office so the next generation can come in and move us in the right direction. That will also help legalize weed because we have a lot of boomers that are still afraid of weed because of the fear mongering that went on like years ago. But not just those old people that are politicians right now, but we need to be careful of the new ones also because the system is still in place in which lobbyists and all these other special interest groups and corporations can buy off the younger politicians as well. Take a look at Pete Buttigieg.
AOC
is.
Hey, I wanted to ask you a
she's
question.
A whole nother topic, but yeah, we can get into AOC.
I want to ask you one quick question about AOC. I saw that you said that she had an interview with MSNBC, right? Or I think you quote tweeted somebody who was like, "Oh, I think it was even her, like, oh, I'm on MSNBC tonight, check it out, whatever." And you said, and I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I was just curious as to what you meant by this. You said anybody that gets an interview by MSNBC is doing something wrong. What does that mean?
So MSNBC is more likely to interview people that is going to prop up their agenda. And MSNBC is putting on this front that they are, these Democrats that want to resist Trump. But in reality, their news organization is owned by right-wingers, and it's just pro wrestling what they're doing and trying to resist Trump. They rarely ever invite people on who expose them. So when they invited AOC on, it wasn't because they wanted to talk to her about like a revolution and about how like Congress isn't doing anything to give everybody a stimulus. It was just to suit, MSNBC's agenda. It was to like make it seem like it's just the Republicans that are bad. AOC doesn't criticize um, her Democratic colleagues. She hardly ever does. It's only the Republicans that she calls out, and it's frustrating because it's not just the Republicans that are holding back the country. It's also the Democrats.
Yeah.
It's like she's lost her teeth since she's been elected, honestly, because
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. She was in Nancy Pelosi's office protesting her at one point, and then now she's
I
like
don't know.
bowing down to her
Yeah,
and all these other things.
yeah.
And I love her, and I love what she stands for. But
I'm
you know,
glad you brought that up, Brooks, because yeah, she used to resist Nancy Pelosi more, but I don't know what happened. Her and Elon, it looks like Nancy Pelosi sat both of them down and had a really stern talking to them. And now,
something like that. I mean, and it's like she's their grandmother or something like that, and
yeah,
you know,
now
they
she's
got,
Mama
like you said, they
Bear.
got scolded. Yeah,
To be fair, though, I think I would say 99% of people in politics or talking on politics usually will make arguments to fit their agenda, though. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but is that agenda actually genuine? Like, is it going to help the people, or is it more so
Oh, no.
selfish? Right?
Always selfish.
Almost always.
Almost not all the time. Almost always selfishly trying to fit people's. Absolutely, I that's
Yeah.
that's what
So
I'm saying. Like
that
it's a whole lot of subjectivity in the world of politics.
Yeah, so like when AOC does like behaves like this, it makes it seem like she's more so out there for herself and for her own career, more so than it is for the actual movement
Mm-hmm.
and the revolution that we desperately need right now in this country.
yep.
The positive that we could take away from this is that she's still young. Her specifically, we'll see if her mentality or her approach to this kind of stuff changes. But we'll go ahead and leave it off at that, man. This was a beautiful sit down as always, man, with the homies and the
I
live chat.
never would have thought that LeBron. I would never would have thought that Pedro would agree with me that
Yo, Pedro, you
that
were
Bron is the GOAT,
very,
man.
you were very adamant about MJ being the GOAT over LeBron.
It's amazing what a pandemic and a quarantine can do to you, man. How
I
incredible is
kind of
that?
saw the transition.
I
It was
will
like
tell you,
last year in the summer when Pedro started transitioning.
I was saying, I've always said, ever since LeBron won his first championship, I said when it's all said and done, he will most likely pass Michael Jordan, because you don't know if he's going to get injured. You don't know if he's going to decide, I don't want to play anymore. Like, you have no idea about the future. I don't even know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning, right? So it's like I know. It's unpredictable, right? Everything is unpredictable. So I couldn't sit there. What I can do is I can look at a full career of Michael Jordan and be like, bro, how can you debate that? But then once you get further into LeBron's career, you're 17, and not only because at this point, 36, 17, motherfuckers slow down. LeBron James kicked it up. There's no way I can't.
Career year, bro.
I can't.
He's been doing it great for so long and for so much longer. How can you deny the man's greatness? You can say all you want about the finals records.
But look, and that's what I forgot to mention that earlier. I used to give LeBron a lot of shit for finals losses, right? And two of them, like I said, one of them unacceptable. The other one is like, come on, bro, you could have put up a better fight. But he's been to all these finals. To get to the finals, you have to win 1, 2, 3 series. You have to win 12 games against the best teams and players in your conference. Yeah, the Eastern Conference wasn't as good as the West, but he still got it done. People were talking about, oh, Michael Jordan's beating truck drivers, but then they give LeBron hella props for playing in the East. I keep the same energy for people using that argument, because I'm keeping the same energy because he got it done. You know what I mean?
Look, he even did it in the West, which is a much harder conference.
There we go.
You can't deny that. Nah.
Brooke, were people not saying that? Were people not saying, oh, Michael didn't play anybody. He played plumbers and all these other truck drivers and science teachers and shit like that? Were people not saying that, Brooks?
Definitely were.
But then what did they say when he was running through the weak East? What were people saying? Oh, he's a dog. He's the GOAT. That's what everyone. So I was just like confused by that. I was like, how come y'all give that man shit for that? but then you guys prop up LeBron for the same shit. Whatever. That's water under the bridge at this point because he dominated what was in front of him, and I give him hella props for that. But then he went to the West, and then he toyed with the West. He toyed with them, bro, in a situation where there's no fans. I wasn't thinking how impactful this bubble was really going to be on these players. It's an open gym situation, and then you really start to see talent oozing out. And LeBron James, the most talented basketball player ever. And then now that he's added the accomplishments and to me become like even more mentally sharper and smarter, he's the greatest basketball player of all time. I can't sit here and lie to myself anymore. I can't lie to myself. I can't lie to you. I can't lie to the homies. And I can't lie to anybody in this HMO live stream anymore, man. I can't fucking do it. I can't do it. LeBron James, the greatest basketball player of all time as of today.
Hear me out, man. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Catch you guys
Thank you guys
next
so
week.
much. We love you guys.
Channel, love y'all, man. And we'll have these videos segmented all on the channel for you guys. We'll see y'all again real soon, real soon.
Subscribe to Frank Analysis, HMO, Hot Media. Got some fire coming up for you guys.
Drones by Dro.
We are out. Bang!
Sir, bang, bang, bang.